Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Coach's Corner with Brian Jonker, men's basketball coach, as part of today's Mohawk Super Saturday activities. My name is Wendy Mackey. I'm a past varsity athlete, and I work in the Alumni Relations office here at Mohawk College. I'm so glad that you're able to join us today. Remember to stay in touch with the Alumni Association by participating in different events throughout the year, by volunteering or signing up to receive communications, and by following us on social media. It is now my pleasure to turn the mic over to Satbir Singh from Athletics to lead the discussion. Satbir, take us away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Satbir Singh. I'm the Sports Information Coordinator for the Mountaineers Athletics and Recreation Department. I'd like to welcome everyone to the first of two segments of Coach's Corner on this Super Saturday, online Saturday, I should say, or what I refer to as a possible audition to a late night talk show for myself in the future. Again, as Wendy has mentioned, how Coach's Corner will work. I'll be introducing the coaches today through the two segments, and we will ask them a few questions, and then we'll open the floor to any of the questions mentioned in the chat box by our audience today. And without further ado, please welcome Mohawk Mountaineers men's basketball head coach Brian Jonker, who's been the head coach here at Mohawk for 15 seasons. But let's not forget, he also played 3 seasons with the Mohawk Mountaineers in the early 90s, was named OCAA All-Star in 1993, and broke the OCAA three-point field goal record twice. And Brian, I want to start off right there as we welcome you into the conversation. Three-point field goal record. How did it feel breaking that record twice?
That was a long time ago, man. It was a long time ago. I don't look back on it too often. I shoot just enough shots during the year now to let the kids know I can still shoot, but it doesn't really come up very often, and I don't look back. But sure, I guess anytime your name's associated with something, it's been broke many times since I was around. I think it got broken actually the first year I was coaching back in the league. And since then, the way the game's changed, it's been broken many times. So
are we putting you up there with the Ray Allens, the Reggie Millers, and the Steph Currys?
No, not quite. There are lots of people who probably saw me play that would say I was a high volume shooter. So there's there might be some questions as to maybe what the percentages were to get the totals that I got, but it is what it is.
All right. Well, you also have a great resume as a coach. 15 years, as I've mentioned, 2 OCAA titles, a CCAA national championship, literally 10 years ago now. We're coming on that anniversary here, and also named OCAA West Coach of the Year. Just focusing on your coaching resume here at Mohawk. Again, it's not common to see someone spend so many years at one institution as a coach for a program. Did you expect to be the head coach at Mohawk as long as you have been?
I don't think I mean, when I started out, I didn't have any expectation as to how long I would do it. I can remember it like yesterday when the job came up, and I talked to my wife as soon as I heard, and I remember the exact conversation. I remember that my 2 daughters were like 6 and 2 years old, and one of them was wrapped around her leg walking down the hall, and the other one was in her arm crying. And I said, I think my wife played at Mohawk as well, so we have a very big ties to the school. And I remember saying to her, hey, the job is open. I'd like to go back and try and win a national championship at our alma mater. And kids screaming, one wrapped around her leg, and I just remember saying, just do what you want. Go ahead. So yeah, I remember that part of it, but as far as actually, how long I thought I'd be here, I still don't know. I mean, it's a year by year thing. As long as I continue to enjoy it, and as long as they'll have me around, I'll be happy to be here. I know the group I have this year has kind of re-energized me. They're, my personal work life has been a little bit of struggle the last month and a half, and these guys have been kind of the smile put on my face every day when I come in the gym. It's a great group of kids. So as long as I'm still having fun, I'll stick around.
And you mentioned your wife played basketball at Mohawk as well. So
absolutely,
back then, who would win in one-on-one?
We never actually played. She was a good player though. She was a very good player, tough, good rebounder, smart, good leader. She was a good player, very good player. She's a good athlete. So, but no, we didn't. We actually don't compete too much against each other in really anything. She's very competitive. I'm very competitive, and I think it's probably best that we don't.
For sure. Next question. I know you're probably going to say the national championship. So besides that, what has been your favorite memory over the last 15 years being the head coach of the Mohawk men's basketball team?
Wow, that's
You can give
really
us a
tough.
couple if you want.
You are correct. I mean, you can't. It'd be hard to say that the national championship wouldn't be the ultimate moment, but the second OCA championship that we won at Humber against Humber at Durham was pretty special. There was a turnover at the guard position, so we had different players there. Matt Fennell was with us then, and he wasn't with us for the national championship, and he had been somebody that I tried to be close with over the years, and it took a long time to get him to come to Mohawk. So him being there and us winning that year was pretty special. So I'd probably say that second OCA championship.
And then coming up on the 10-year anniversary of that national championship that you and the team won in 2011, 2012. I know you might say it's been a long time as well, but just reflect on what that year was like and what it meant then and what it continues to mean to you today.
Yeah, when something like that happens, you have a bond for life with all those individuals. So, I'm still in touch with more than half on a regular basis. I know that a lot of them still hang out, and a bunch of them still play together in men's leagues and competitively. But yeah, that run in February that year, we won our last 10 games, and you could feel something special happening, and it was just a group that all got along really well. The pieces fit. We had size, we had shot blocking, we had Alex Reese was a great glue guy for us and did a little bit of everything. And we had an all Canadian backcourt and good quality off the bench. So it just gelled, and it was perfect. And to do that out east, we were out about 45 in Truro, Nova Scotia, about 45 minutes outside of Halifax. And it was just special. And we actually probably had 40 or 50 Mohawk people down there when we won, from family and friends and stuff. My parents drove out. My wife and kids were there. It was, I'll never forget it. I mean, it was special. Winning that night and going out with everybody. And it was St. Patrick's Day, so we took over a small pub in Truro, a basement pub. You walk down, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And we had, it's things you'll never forget. And that group of people that we had were very special, and we'll have a bond for life. Every St. Patrick's Day, I text the entire team, happy anniversary. And I always get replies from 85% of them. And so we have that bond forever.
Hopefully this year, when St. Patrick's approaches, we can get everyone together and celebrate the 10-year anniversary.
It would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So over these 15 years, you have to pick one individual who's been your favorite athlete to coach in a Mountaineers jersey.
Satbir, do you have any kids?
No.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Yes.
What would your parents say if you asked them who their favorite kid was?
Being biased, I would say they'd say me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, if they're smart, they would say they don't have any favorite kids. So I've coached a lot of people over the years, a lot of great people, and it'd be really hard to pick one. I've obviously from an athletic standpoint and from an accomplishment standpoint, like we've had, Matt Fennell was a national player of the year and a 2-time All-Canadian. And Amino Bello was the year we won the national championship. He was the national athlete of the year across all sports. Manny Campbell's been an All-Canadian. So I've coached some really great people, numerous All-Stars and league All-Stars. So, but favorites, it's hard to pick a favorite, man. There's so many great guys I've been lucky to be around.
For sure. And just reflecting on the OCAA competition, is there a specific school that you would say, I don't want to say rivalry, we can say friendly rivalry, but one that you specifically look forward to playing each year?
Well, I mean, Humber and Sheridan have their rivalry. I mean, the last few years, we haven't beaten Redeemer, and my first 12 years in the league, probably we never lost to them. So it was a cross-town thing, and you'd say, well, it's not really a rivalry. They never beat us. Well, now we haven't beaten them the last 3 or 4 years. So I would say that's probably the closest thing we would have to an absolute rival. I mean, our division's so difficult. You do get up for the Humbers, the Sheridans, and the Fanshaws, and Niagara. But yeah, across town, Jamie's done a great job at Redeemer, and you know, we now have we have some battles, and you don't know who's going to win.
I'm looking ahead to this year. Obviously, a big exhibition schedule, unique from previous years, I would assume. What can people expect from your team this year?
Yeah, we've got a mix of young and old. We do have a bunch of youth, but we do have a little bit of experience. We're not very big though, but boy, we can shoot it. So we're it's my kind of team actually. From high school through college, my preference has always been to shoot and shoot high volume. 20 years ago, when people weren't shooting threes, my high school teams were scoring in the 80s and 90s because we shot a lot of threes, and we've tried to carry that on here. And this team here is probably more capable of shooting the ball across the board. We've got 6 or 7 guys that can really shoot it. So we're going to play high tempo. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. And I think we'll definitely be a work in progress. This season, the way it's put together, probably actually favors us this year. I don't know how awesome we would have been right out of the gate if we were playing half our league games, but we've got an extremely competitive preseason, and then I think that's going to prepare us well in January when we actually start a league schedule. So the goal will be obviously to play our best in January and February, heading into March.
And a coach never wants to just pick one individual player to highlight on his team. You obviously look at the overall roster, but just for fans, Mountaineers fans, is there any couple players that they should keep an eye out on who might become fan favorites going into this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've JR's back this year, and he's pretty dynamic and offering leadership, and he can shoot it. Daniel Graham's the fastest guy we've ever coached with a ball in his hand, so he's electric. Also strong leader. And Daniel's brother, actually, Isaac, is with us. He's a freshman, and I can honestly say that in the 15 or 16 years I've been here, we've never had anyone like Isaac. He floats. You throw the ball anywhere around the rim, and he's going to dunk it. So Matt Foster, he's a better shooter than I ever was. So it's you know, that's another guy that you can watch for, and we've got some nice pieces around all these guys too. And you know, Mackenzie Hart's coming over from Mac. He was there for a year, so he's going to help us. And yeah, I'm excited about where we're going. I like the team chemistry, and I really like the kids.
And last question from me as a coach, any pregame ritual? I know you're stuck at your work office right now, so I don't think that would be your pregame ritual, but is there a ritual or a superstition the night before of a game or a day of?
I'm not overly superstitious. I don't have, I suppose routines, getting there at a certain time and stuff, but there's nothing that I have to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily have superstitions or anything like that.
Okay, so no like one meal that you have to have, or
no, I've never been like that. I pretty easy go with the flow kind of guy. I don't get too hung up on any of that sort of stuff.
Awesome. I'm not sure if we have any questions in the chat box. If anyone wants to add anything now, I'll give it a couple seconds here. And Brian, if you have anything else you wanted to add before we sign off.
Not necessarily. Just looking forward to hopefully getting fans out. I think today it's students and staff. Hoping next week will be family, and maybe in the near future we'll get back to allowing anybody in to watch, which would be great.
Well, thank you again, Brian, for your time, especially ahead of a game. You're probably trying to prepare for that game right now. I also want to thank Wendy for the introduction and everyone else for tuning in to the first of two segments of Coach's Corner on this super online Saturday. We encourage everyone to head over to YouTube to watch the live stream of the Mountaineers women's basketball game versus George Brown Huskies in exhibition play. The women's game tips off in about 10 minutes time. The men's game will begin at 4 p.m. The stream for the live stream can be found in our chat box. And then we will be back for 4:30 for the second Coach's Corner with women's head coach Haley Burns. And from there, I just want to say thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you guys in an hour and a half.
Thank you very much. I appreciate doing this.